This is the matter of Moore versus Moore. Both parties are present. When I set this matter for an evidentiary hearing, it was at a motion hearing at which you did not appear, Ms. Moore. Do you oppose the relief that Mr. Moore is seeking today?
I didn't appear because I was not aware of it. But the only thing that I'm opposing is that I get 50-50 of my daughter and take her to school, be involved, and all of that.
All right. Well, in that case, I guess we need to move forward and receive some testimony. I'll hear from Mr. Moore first. Mr. Moore, you are still seeking sole custody of your daughter, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we get a little bit of hesitation there. If we're going to be struggling with an internet connection, I might try to also connect with you by telephone. Let's just see how it goes. So, Mr. Moore, I'll hear from you first. Would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. State your full name for the record.
Jason Sean Moore.
So, Mr. Moore, I believe you and Nicole had 2 children together, correct? Andrew and Olivia?
Yes, sir.
Currently, Andrew is refusing to see his mother, and it doesn't look like Ms. Moore wants to do anything to change that fact. Is that accurate?
No.
Correct.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were speaking with me.
Well, I was speaking to him, but
I apologize.
Let me stop for just a minute. I guess I misunderstood you. You said you opposed the request only insofar as it pertains to Olivia. So maybe I made a wrong assumption from that. What exactly is your position as to Andrew?
Well, with Andrew, Andrew has been talking to me on the phone, and we're making baby steps to make things better. But Jason has stated to me that our son is doing well and everything, and tell me he's passing his sophomore year, but that's not the case. My son is.
Hold on a minute, ma'am. All I was asking you was whether your position today included objecting to the situation with Andrew. It didn't sound like it did, but then you piped up when I was asking Mr. Moore a question that makes it sound like you do. I don't want to know the whys. All I want is, as a result of today's hearing, what is it you would like me to do with respect to Andrew?
I would like to just keep doing what we're doing, but just for encouragement for him to stay on the right track with me.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Moore, I obviously read your motion. I've reread the LGAL's report that ultimately preceded the judgment of divorce, and I've looked at the exhibits that you submitted, but I still need to make that stuff a matter of official record, so I have to take testimony from you. So tell me today, what relief are you seeking with respect to Olivia?
Well, first off, I'd like to move to request the admission of all my exhibits. Second off, I just during school time, I want Olivia with me so that I can guarantee her education, so that she gets to school every day on time and fashionably. Unfortunately, when she's with her mother, she misses several days a week.
All right, I don't want to get into the whys. I just want to
She-
set the stage. So,
Yep,
what you're excuse me, what you're seeking with Olivia is when school is in session, you want her to be with you and spend what, every other weekend with mom?
Well, I mean, yeah, that would be fine.
And with respect to the summers, are you okay keeping those week on, week off?
Yes, sir, as I written my motion. Or I sent that in the proposal order.
All right, I saw that you'd sent us a proposed order. I didn't go through and read all of it. I will, obviously, before I enter any order. All right. And what relief are you seeking with respect to Andrew?
None. I have what I want.
So whatever provision is in the judgment of divorce can remain the same as it pertains to Andrew.
Correct. The only issues that I've sustained is, just Olivia missing school. Obviously, that's my priority.
Okay, fair enough. So you made motion that I admit your exhibits. Have you shared those exhibits with Nicole?
Yes. Everything has been sent to her by email.
All right, so Ms. Moore, do you acknowledge receipt of, it looks like exhibits, they're not in order, so let me. It looks like there's 5 total. Is that correct, Mr. Moore?
I believe so.
Ms. Moore, you've received all of those 5 exhibits, copies of them?
Yes, yesterday I did via email.
Do you have any objection to my admitting those exhibits into evidence?
Meaning, do I disagree with anything that he said? Is that what you're asking?
No. When a party wants the court to receive documents into evidence, they make a motion for them to be received. Before I actually receive them, I always ask the other party if they object to the admission of those exhibits. So you don't have to agree with what's in them, but is there some basis on which you think I should not accept these into evidence?
No, I don't think so.
All right, there being no objection, I will admit these into evidence, and let's talk about some of them. I'll just address them in the order that they're in front of me. The first that I have is Exhibit 4. It's a handwritten note from, looks like Island City Academy. Is that where Olivia attends school?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore? And it shows absences September 22nd, October 20th, October 21st, 23rd, November 4th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, December 3rd, January 12th, 13th, February 10th, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 26th, March 2nd, 9th, and 12th. And it shows tardies on November 3rd, 13th, and 30th, and December 1st and 2nd. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm looking at a note in the margin. Not sure what that means.
There's another list of dates that you're missing. It would be 12/16, 1/15, 1/25, 1/27, and 2/9, 3/8, 3/11, and 3/10. Those are in the tardy list, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on. I was just looking at that first page. I see there are 3 pages total. I thought the second and third pages were simply to show which week she was with which parent. But they also list
Correct.
additional tardies. Okay. All right, so hold on a minute. I want to make sure I understand it. All right, I see that now. It looks like there's some overlap between the two lists. Is that correct?
They should go right in order.
Well, the first page runs from September through February in the first column, February through March in the second column. The second
Correct.
2 pages, for example, I see, well, wait a minute. Oh, I see. I had misread a date. Pardon me.
Yeah, it's the same dates. It's just broken down 2 ways.
All right. Well, in any event, the second page of Exhibit 4 doesn't deal with any absences prior to the week of December 6th through the 13th, correct?
Correct.
All right. So there's an absence shown for September 22nd. Whose week is that? Well, actually, let's back up. When was the judgment of divorce entered?
December 31st.
This,
That's pretty much why
December
we're here,
31st?
is, the direct disregard of that judgment. Correct.
Yeah, that was all garbled. Mr. Moore, I'm going to try to connect with you by phone so I can hear you better. There's a big hesitation in between. It's going to take us forever to get through this. What phone number should I
That's
dial?
good.
Yes, sir.
Much better. All right, turn the sound down on your computer.
Okay, how's that?
All right, I think that fixed the problem. We had some feedback happening. All right, so the time period I'm concerned with is since the entry of the judgment of divorce. So let's just focus on those dates. And let me just verify. Yeah, December 31st. Okay. So January 12th, January 13th,
Yes,
those clearly are mom's days, mom's week.
correct.
So absence the 12th, absence the 13th, tardy
The 15th,
the 15th. And during your week that preceded that, there were no absences and no tardies, correct?
correct.
All right. Then your week, no absences or tardies, and then we move to mom's next week, the 24th through the 31st. We've got two tardies, tardy on the 25th and tardy again on the 27th.
Correct. And then on to week of 131.
Yeah, that's your week, no absences or tardies. And then mom's next week, we've got one absence and one tardy.
Correct.
Next week is yours. No absences or tardies. Next week is mom's. We have 4 missed days. Is that correct?
Correct.
February 28th through the 7th is your week. We do have an absence. Well, wait a minute. It says 3/9. Is that in the wrong place?
Yes, it's a possibility.
You show it again on her week. So obviously 3/9 didn't fall on your week. So I'll cross that one out.
Correct.
And then again, back with mom from the 7th through the 14th of March. We've got 2 missed days entirely and 3 tardies that week.
Correct.
And do you have her school schedule for after March 14th?
No, sir.
Have there been any?
That was when we filed the motion.
Oh, I see. Have you kept track of absences and tardies since that date?
She's been with me since.
Oh, that's right. Because I did
school.
the order after hearing. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Let me just write a note on this so I remember. Since she's been with you, has she missed any school or been late for school?
No, sir.
Is she still in school?
Correct.
When
She's
does
in school right now.
and when does
She
school?
has 7 days left.
7 days left? Okay. All right. That takes care of Exhibit 4. Exhibit 3 is from her pre-kindergarten teacher commenting on the attendance and the patterns she's seen when Olivia is with her mother.
Correct.
And then the teacher also comments on Olivia's behavior on the weeks that her mother drops her off, that she appears visibly upset.
Yes, sir.
All right, then eventually we'll settle down. All right, Exhibit 1 is just the judgment of divorce. We don't need to talk about that right now. All right, and Exhibit 6 is a bunch of photographs. So what am I seeing in these photographs, sir?
You mean in Exhibit 5?
It says 6.
Oh, these are text messages to Andrew.
Mr. Moore, look at what I'm holding up to the camera.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. It's labeled Exhibit 6. That's what I'm asking you about now.
I'm sorry, for some reason I have it labeled as Exhibit 5.
All right.
And it states under the exhibit, pictures of Andrew and Olivia's life with defendant father, correct?
There's no statement attached to it. There's just a letter
Okay.
superimposed on the photograph, Exhibit 6. So it looks like a series of photographs.
Yep, just showing you the events in her life at home with dad, interacting with people, socializing.
So what's the first page of Exhibit 6 in the upper left-hand corner shows your daughter with a woman. Who is the woman?
That is my wife, Amanda Moore.
Okay.
She's actually brushing her hair, just showing you that they have a established relationship.
So Olivia is brushing your wife's hair?
Correct. They do each other's hair all the time.
Okay. And the next page, I see Olivia and your wife playing a game.
Yep, the water game.
I see Olivia and Andrew playing a game at some kind of an arcade.
That is actually my stepson Jackson and Andrew, but yes, we're all at the arcade.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yes. Well, with the masks, it's kind of hard to tell. So
Yes, sir.
I recognized Andrew by the hair. I couldn't really tell who that was. I just assumed. All right. So that's your stepson with Andrew. What's his name?
Jackson.
And these are all your stepchildren are the children of your current wife.
Correct.
When were the two of you married?
January 29th.
Okay. All right. And I see two girls in the lower left-hand corner. It looks like one is Olivia. Who's the other?
That is Molly.
Another stepdaughter?
Niece.
A niece. Okay. So Molly doesn't live with you.
No, sir.
All right.
They just spend a large amount of time together. They go to school together. Molly and Olivia are in the same class.
All right. And then the lower right-hand picture, I see Olivia in the back. I see your wife. And who is that?
And that's Molly as well.
That's Molly again. Okay. So was all of this at a birthday party, these pictures?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whose birthday was it?
Nika's. Wasn't it Nika's birthday? Yeah. Foster child. My mother-in-law's foster child.
Okay. And then the next page, it looks like Andrew with a mask on and his thumb up in the air. Who's the young lady next to him?
That's his stepsister, Madeline.
Madeline. How old is Madeline?
She just turned 18.
All right. And Madeline is your wife's daughter?
Correct.
All right. And I think I recognize the other people in the other photos on that page. Next page looks like there's a picture harvesting a Christmas tree. That
Yes,
sir. Is that Olivia?
Yep. Holding the fence rail?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. And is that you with your back to the camera?
No, that's the tree shaker. The guys that take the trees for you,
Oh, I got you.
shake the needles off.
So a couple more of Olivia on that page, and then Andrew with your wife?
No, that's Madeline, his stepsister. They were getting ready for it was a Christmas party at school. I can't remember what they called it, but it was like a Winterfest ball.
Okay. All right, and the next looks like all of Olivia. And next page, who all is in that upper left-hand picture?
That would be Molly, Olivia, and Amelia. They're making Christmas cookies.
Who's Amelia?
Amelia is Molly's mother.
Oh, okay.
Amanda's sister.
All right. And Olivia and Molly lying on the bed or sitting on the bed?
Doing what they do best, playing on their phones.
Looks like drawing or something on the floor in the next lower left.
Yep, that's their school desk in their bedroom.
Oh, they're actually sitting at a desk. Okay.
Correct. Oh, I'm sorry. The lower left was them on the floor drawing, coloring together.
Okay, I thought it was the picture. And the lower right is
Them sitting at their desk doing artwork.
Okay. And let's see, the next page, it looks like you and Olivia sitting somewhere.
Having lunch. Sitting at the dinner table.
Is that in your home?
Yes, sir.
And sitting on the floor, Olivia and
Molly.
all right, her hair looked a little lighter in this picture. That's why I didn't guess. And that's Olivia and Molly in the other two pictures on that page.
Correct. Painting pumpkins, playing on the swing.
And Olivia and Molly on the next page, up in the upper left corner. And what, Andrew and who's the young man with him?
That's Jackson with short hair. Yeah, we were on a trip up north. That was Lookout Mountain in St. Ignace.
Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah, we're actually on a treasure hunt.
Is that where you follow clues around and try to find a treasure?
Yes, sir.
And I see Olivia standing in front of a mirror. And then an outdoor picture with Andrew, looks like your wife. And then is that Jackson again from the back?
Correct. Same trip in the woods looking for clues.
Okay. Next page, more of Olivia and Molly. Olivia and Dad. Olivia and ice cream, I think.
That there would be a magic milk, sir.
A magic milk.
Bigby's finest.
Okay.
At least that's what Olivia would tell you.
All right, and I don't need to go through and identify the rest. I think I can figure this out. All right, basically showing your kids enjoying themselves in your presence and with their cousins and with their step siblings.
Correct.
All right, so let's talk about Exhibit 5. Exhibit 5, I believe, are text messages that Andrew received from his mother. Is that correct?
Correct.
I see times on these, but I don't see dates. Can you identify dates, please?
Unfortunately, the screenshots don't show a date, but these were all after the judgment of no contact. Or I'm sorry, these were all prior to the judgment of no contact.
So these all.
But directly after the judgment of divorce.
Oh, okay.
Which is in non-compliance of the original order.
When you said judgment of no contact, you threw me.
Yeah.
So they're all after the divorce. So the divorce was final December 31st. Were these all received in January?
Yes. So January, February.
All right. All right. And I've read all of them. They've been admitted into evidence. Other than the schooling issue, do you have concerns about Ms. Moore's care of Olivia?
Well, in the judgment of divorce, it was ordered that she was to obtain therapy, and I don't feel that she's doing so. If she is doing so, I don't feel that it's helping. She's still extremely spiteful, trying to create problems. I mean, she called CPS on us, tried to put my stepdaughter in jail.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, how do you know that she called CPS?
Well, she admitted to me to begin with. Second of all, it was quite apparent in the allegations list that the CPS lady had for us.
What were you told were the accusations?
That my son and stepdaughter were sleeping in the same room and sleeping in the same bed and had a sexual relationship going. Therefore, it led CPS to go to my younger children's school, which is a charter school, drag them out of their classrooms, interrogate them. It was a very disturbing situation for both my younger children.
When did this happen?
I don't have an exact date in front of me.
Do you know the month?
Not right offhand.
Was it after Ms. Moore sent?
It was March 11th.
March 11th. So that would have been after the text messages that are part of Exhibit 5?
Correct.
So as I look through Exhibit 5, there was one that I believe accused him of having sex with, let me find it.
I'm looking as well.
There aren't page numbers, so we'll have to refer. It's near the back.
Yes, I found it.
If I find out you're effing Maddie, there will be consequences. That Maddie is the stepsister who it was reported to CPS that Andrew was sleeping with and having sexual relations.
Correct.
Okay.
Might I add, this devastated all of my children, as they were all directly affected by this.
Did Ms. Moore ever tell you what it was that made her accuse Andrew and Maddie of this?
She tried telling me that someone told her that, but like I told you before, I can't believe anything she says. I've tried desperately to make this as easy as possible, the transition, everything. And it's just out of spite. Everything that she does is out of spite. And as you can see in the first judgment, in the divorce judgment, this was ordered not to happen. This was the deal. When you requested that I went in and had a meeting with them in a private room, I made this very deal with them. That there would be no spiteful actions, that everyone would be civil, and that has not happened in any way, shape, or form. I want nothing more than my children to have the best relationship they can with their mother. But she has to make some changes in order for that to happen. I'm trying to encourage Andrew on a daily basis to talk to his mom. The only reason that he's talking to her right now is because I encouraged it to happen.
All right, and I'm looking at the specific language in the judgment of divorce as it pertains to Olivia. As long as Ms. Moore continues to take her medication properly, attends therapy, ensures Olivia attends school regularly, those were the conditions that you were referring to.
And she's failed to comply on every basis.
How do you know about her attending therapy or taking medication, whether or not that's happening?
I don't, Your Honor. That's one of the things that bothers me, is that I can't tell. But her behavior, her actions lead me to believe that she's not taking the proper steps.
What do you know historically about her therapy? You know, is that something the two of you talked about when you were still together as a couple? That was she getting therapy then, or is this something that took care of?
No,
happened later.
She wasn't getting therapy then, but we had talked about it numerous times, and the fact that she needed it. She was having a lot of troubles in her life, you know, with her mom passing away and drug addiction. And like I stated before, I've tried to help her through all of this, and I'm tired. You know, I just am trying to do what's best for my children.
Well, the judgment of divorce says continue to take medication properly. What do you know about what medication she was on?
I don't know what medication she's on now, but it all has to do with depression medications and whatnot. You know what I mean?
So obviously there was an understanding at the time the judgment of divorce was entered that she was on medication at that time.
Yes, because she had started a therapy and they had put her on some medications. And
great. That's what I was getting at. You don't know what the medications are, but you know because she told you that she had started therapy and that they had placed her on some medications.
Correct.
All right. And that's how you know about the therapy. She told you she had started therapy, and your desire in the judgment was that she continue with both of those.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just feel it's what's best for her to get her life back on track.
Okay. So the guardian ad litem in his report went through a number of factors that he analyzes. Those are factors that the court is required to analyze. So I want to ask you about some of these things.
Okay.
Let me get to the right page. There we go. Starts on page 11. Do you acknowledge that Olivia has a close bond with her mother?
Oh, of course.
And she also has a close bond with you?
Yes, sir. She has a close bond with both of the children. I mean, her and Andrew were attached at the hip when he was younger, you know, it's just.
Yeah, and I didn't ask about Andrew only because you're both in agreement that I'm not going to change anything in the judgment of divorce as it impacts him. The only one we're looking at changing anything for is Olivia, correct?
I understand, yes.
All right. So I didn't mean to diminish that at all. I don't
No.
I don't need to go into
I
that.
just felt it necessary to say, you know, I mean, she has a great relationship with both kids. It's just, she makes poor decisions.
You agree that both of you have the ability to provide Olivia with the basic necessities of life?
Yes.
I do have some concerns. Olivia, you know, when she comes home, and I ask her what she had for dinner and stuff like that. And she tells me that they had candy and sweets and, you know, pizza. I don't really like the fact that she's still continuing to tell Olivia that her boyfriend is just her friend, her roommate. They live together, have lived together for a long time. He's there every time that Olivia's there. I don't want my daughter to be misconstrued, you know what I mean? Nor lied to in any way. But other than that, I have no objections other than
so whether she may be choosing to feed your daughter things she likes as opposed to things that are more nutritional, there's no question in your mind she has the ability to provide her with the proper nutrition.
I would like to assume so, yes.
Do you have any reason to think she's living under some severely limited financial constraints that interfere?
No, I don't think so. She has lots of family that can help her if she needs it. I mean, she could ask me at any point in time if she needed something for Olivia. As long as she's civil, as long as she's acting correctly, then I have no problem helping in any way, and have always stated so. I mean, as of right now, I have no idea what her financial situation is. I can't trust anything that she says. Like I told you before, she's had probably 15 jobs in the last 2 years.
Do you know why she's had difficulty holding on to a job or staying with a job?
She just has problems, man. She creates problems in her own environment, no matter where she's at, no matter what she does.
What about her home? Has her home been stable since entry of the judgment of divorce?
I think she's had the apartment since the judgment of divorce. She has had the same apartment.
All right, and the LGAL's report indicates that as of the date of the report, she'd been there for about 6 months. So let me see if I can find the date. I'm sure it's on the first page. And of course it's not. Let's look at the last page. So 6 months as of December 7th, and we're now 6 months after that. So she's been there about a year, it sounds like.
Yes, sir.
So that seems pretty stable. And as far as you know, she lives there with this boyfriend that.
Paul Curtis.
Okay. Do you know if anybody else lives in that home besides the two of them and Olivia?
Not that I'm aware of.
And
So she did state to me a week ago that Paul moved out.
And your home is essentially unchanged since the judgment of divorce. You reside there with Amanda, who's now your wife, and her children.
Correct.
You have no mental or physical health issues?
No, sir.
Do you know if Ms. Moore has any physical health issues?
Not that I'm aware of.
And you've already testified concerning your belief that she should be continuing in therapy and should be on medications.
Yes, sir.
How, other than attendance, how is Olivia doing in school?
She's doing great. We just had a year-end conference, you know what I mean? And her teacher was ecstatic about how well she's doing. Me and Nicole both attended together. It was a good meeting. Olivia was very happy. Ms. Stumpos, her teacher, sees no reason why she wouldn't move on to the next year, which is kindergarten. She's very excited for her to move on.
I'm assuming
She's come a long way.
I'm assuming as a pre-kindergartner, she didn't have any homework, or is that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Homework every day.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
She goes to a very good charter school, so they keep the kids moving. They're always doing something.
Was there any challenge getting her homework done when she was with her mother before this most recent order entered?
She never did it. It always came back home to us. We did it Sunday night before school. On the missed days, we picked up the homework ourselves and made sure it was done. Even on the missed days, she was with her mother.
All right. Is there any other factor that I should be considering in deciding whether or not to grant your motion as it pertains to Olivia?
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Ms. Moore, are there any questions I've not asked Mr. Moore that you would like to ask him?
No questions. I guess just statements on the days that.
Right. Well, that's what we'll get into now then. So
Okay.
I'm going to put you under oath, and then we'll receive your testimony. And then when that's done, Mr. Moore will have a chance to question if he has any questions, and we'll also have one more chance to address anything you raised during your testimony. So raise your right hand, please. You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down, state your full name.
Nicole Marie Moore.
All right, Ms. Moore, you indicated there were some things that Mr. Moore testified to that you would like to address. You may do that
Yes.
now.
Okay, so I have in the beginning of Jason and I's separation, it was, yes, very hard on me, very hard on the kids. Jason was informing our son of everything that was going on. And that is why part of the reason why, because yes, I said things to my son that I should not have. But I mean, he was allowing Andrew to read all of our text messages, to where the last time I was to take the kids to the Guardian and light them, they said that I just didn't show up. Well, my son had pretty much told me that if I wouldn't just sign the paper that his dad wanted me to sign, and I made them go into the Guardian and light them, that he would no longer talk to me. Second, the days, not all of them, but there are at least, so the 1 week that Olivia missed school, she had gone to that birthday party with her dad and Amanda. And when she came back to me, she was sick. She had a fever of 101. Jason at the time was not contacting me personally. He would not. So we were exchanging information through his mother. So every day, every time, almost every time that Olivia missed school, he approved it. So when she had the fever, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, she stayed home because she had a fever and would not get out of bed. She was sick. So I notified her teacher. I sent her back to school that Thursday. When I picked her up from school, her teacher notified me that Olivia had a very rough day, that she was exhausted, and they take a nap before parents come to pick them up. Well, she couldn't hardly get Olivia up that day. She was just so exhausted from the sickness. That cough that she had, and the fever went on for 3 days. The cough subsided for over a month. When I had stated that I think that Olivia should be tested for COVID, Jason had said that all I would be doing is torturing her. When it came to Olivia's parent-teacher conferences, I would message Jason and say, okay, Mrs. Stomp Post states that we can do conferences between 1 and 7. And he said no, that he wasn't going to get together with me to do conferences for Olivia. I expressed that I thought it would be a good idea just to show Olivia that we can be in the same room to know how well she's doing with her education. He didn't agree with that. Then his wife messaged my phone, started to call me a lunatic, and told me my son doesn't even want to talk to me. Why would her husband want to be in the same room with me? Well, it's not about that. It's about doing what's best for our children. Right before this hearing, a couple of weeks ago, I have all of this. I just didn't know how to submit the evidence. This is all new to me. But Jason actually brought over a stipulated order stating that I sign it, and that I said, well, I need to read it first. He said, I don't have time for this. Sign this, sign this. Well, then later, he had sent me a text message and said, if you would like to tell your son and daughter good night, then I expect you to be at my house at 9 p.m. If you do not, quit wasting my time. So pretty much trying to bribe me to sign this. And then my son called me. I actually have on text message where he messaged me. He needed some information about Yahoo for his gaming. And he had messaged me and said, Mom, why can't you just sign the paper? And I said, Andrew, I'm not going to talk about this with you. He said, no, you're right, Mom. We shouldn't talk about this. This is my fault. So that shows that Jason is informing him what is going on. I mean, my son, prior to this, was telling me that I didn't deserve my daughter, that I had done all of this to our family. When I would try to contact Jason to talk to him about it, address it, so that he could have a talk with Andrew, or maybe we could all sit down together and try to find a better way to communicate without Andrew being so spiteful. Jason had responded to me that he didn't blame Andrew for speaking and feeling the way that he did toward me. I asked him if he was, because I would be, since the time I couldn't message my son anymore, I was messaging Jason telling him, will you please tell my son I said goodnight and that I love him, and please try to talk to him about trying to have a good relationship with me. And he said, to be honest with you, Nicole, I quit asking because I already know his answer. And now, I mean, my son has cried to me. He has cried to me that his dad is telling him that he would never lie to him, to trust him, and this and that. So I feel like my son has always thrived for his father's attention. Jason was gone a lot, working multiple things. And when our stepson moved in, Andrew was very jealous of their relationship. And so I feel, and not only me, but my nephew, whom Jason had working for him, stated that he was afraid that Andrew was too scared to talk to me about it or go against what his father is saying. Otherwise, his dad's going to be disappointed in him.
Let me interrupt you here.
Okay.
I only want to hear about things that happened after the divorce judgment was entered. So I want you to confine your testimony to the recent things.
To the part, just this last motion where I don't get Olivia during the school year, is that what you're speaking of?
No, just anything that's occurred since December 31st.
Okay. So that has all occurred since December 31st.
You were talking about a stepson moving in. That didn't happen since December 31st.
No, I was just trying to explain to you about my son, how my son wants his dad's approval. So I apologize for that. Let's see. Every time I have simply just tried to talk to Jason about the well-being of our daughter. For instance, he doesn't tell me when she has a dentist appointment. He doesn't inform me of any of these things. And when I ask about our son, he says that I've lost my rights, that he doesn't have to tell me that I've lost my rights, which I didn't lose my rights. I wanted my son to focus on school and not this divorce. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about Andrew's schooling. Is that something you're going to allow me to speak about?
Well, the point with Andrew is you're both in agreement I should continue the terms of the judgment of divorce. So with respect to that, I really, there's no point in me hearing that. I understand that Andrew has struggled with at least one subject in school. I get that.
All subjects,
but if I'm not being asked to make any change of custody with respect to Andrew, I really want to focus more on Olivia.
Okay, I understand that. The only thing I was bringing that up for is because Jason is stating how Olivia is missing school. I get letters from the truancy officer that my son has missed an abundant amount of school. He is failing every class. I get a call almost every day that my son is absent from school. So that's that. So now when it comes to the accusations of Andrew and the stepsister, her father was the one who had spoke to me about that. That Maddie was there and Amanda was there as well when Maddie made these statements to her father about liking Andrew. And Amanda's response to that was, well, I guess I'm going to have to start keeping an eye on you two. And then Jason's mother, which is my son and daughter's grandmother, who lives in their home as well, has also been concerned of this. She has told me that she has gone downstairs to check on them because she didn't feel comfortable with it. So it's not like I was doing it out of spite. All I've been trying to do is get along with Jason and Amanda. Since Amanda, every time that Jason and I would have a conversation and he didn't like what was said, he would have his wife message me, calling me a lunatic, all sorts of things. So I called the Eaton Rapids Police Department to figure out what to do from that point. They told me to block her number so that I wouldn't have to worry about that stuff. Yes.
Remind me who Amanda is.
Amanda is Jason's wife.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so the police department advised me to block her number because I should be co-parenting with Jason and not Amanda. And if they're stating I have mental issues, then she shouldn't be telling me that I'm, pretty much am psycho. She says I'm psycho, and will send me pictures of her and Olivia, which I think is fabulous, but her intention is to be demeaning. And when she's done that,
while we're on that subject, let me ask you, are you currently in therapy?
Yes, I just haven't gone because I was off of work because I had been in contact with someone with COVID. And so if I have a cough, runny nose, then I can't.
What's the name of your therapist?
Amy.
And what agency does Amy work for?
Eaton Rapids Hospital. So Eaton Rapids Medical Center.
What exactly is Amy treating you for?
Just for depression from the passing of my mother and the passing of Jason and I's family while we were together. His uncle had cancer. I cared for him. I cared for my uncle, and he had also died from cancer. So there has been a lot of deaths in our family, and it took a toll. And then the problems with Jason and I arose, and that just, it broke my heart. I'm not going to lie.
Are you on any medication for depression?
Zoloft.
How long have you been taking Zoloft?
My 2015.
Who prescribed you with the Zoloft?
Dr. Lowell Fernander.
Where is he located?
At Eaton Rapids Medical Center at the family practice.
Have you been taking the Zoloft continuously since 2015?
Yes. Well, yes, right. I mean, there would be a day or two that I would forget when Jason and I were still together. But other than that, yes, I take my medicine regularly, and it hasn't changed since.
Since your divorce was final, have you been consistently taking your medication?
Yes, Your Honor. They actually upped my dose.
When did that happen?
That happened when Jason first filed for a divorce.
All right, but they didn't up your dosage since the divorce judgment.
Correct.
Have you ever been given a psychological evaluation?
No.
Do you currently have any insurance coverage?
Yes.
And who is that through?
As of now, it's McLaren Medicaid, but I will be going on to my boyfriend's insurance. June 6th is when the open enrollment ends on that. So that should be, so that I should have that insurance.
Are you working currently?
Yes.
Where?
Michigan Plumbing.
What are your hours?
They vary. I work 8 to 4, 7:30 to 3:30. I'm in the middle of like 6 weeks training per position I do. So I do dispatching for the plumbing. So that's 6 weeks of that. So I work no later than 5 and no sooner than 7 a.m.
Monday through Friday?
Correct.
At some point, would you be eligible for insurance through Michigan Plumbing?
Yes, I was just going to go through Paul's insurance because it was better and a cheaper weekly deduction.
Mr. Moore testified that you told him Paul moved out a week ago.
No, I had, that's what Paul was going to do, not only because his mother is in the beginning stages of dementia. Paul and I had spoke about just being friends, just so that we could stay on track and do what we needed to do with him, his mother needing him. But my daughter loves him. I mean, she calls him Daddy Paul, and I mean that wasn't my doing. She just does. They play together. I mean, you could ask her, and she just absolutely adores him.
So is he your boyfriend, or is he just a friend?
No, he's my boyfriend. He always has been my boyfriend. If something were to, if I have ever said friend, which was only to Jason, it would be so that he would know that even though if we weren't dating, we are still staying in the same home and paying the rent together, so that Jason would not have to worry about whether Olivia had a stable home or not, and that there would be no drama.
All right, I want to talk about Olivia's school attendance. You told me about 1 week where she was sick, but you didn't take her to a doctor to have her examined?
Well, when I suggested it to Jason, because I have to consult with him before I do anything, he told me that he did not want me to take Olivia to get a COVID test done because he said I would be torturing her.
Do you know what he was referring to as torture? The swab?
The nose swab.
Okay. Did he tell you shouldn't take her to a doctor, though?
Well, he never took her to the doctor. I mean, she had the cough and the sickness for a full month after that, and he did not take her to the doctor either.
But she didn't miss any school when she was with him.
Right, which means
Because
that
she
he was
takes
sending
her
her to
medication
school
properly
while.
when she's with me.
Hold on, Mr. Moore, don't interrupt.
I apologize, sir.
And that's
So
because. I'm sorry,
you've
go
told
ahead.
me about one week, but I'm looking at the schedule, her school schedule since December, and frankly, there were attendance issues before that, which led to this language in the judgment of divorce.
Right.
And you know, you can explain away the week that she missed the whole week, but what about all these other days of missed school and late for school?
Okay, so now being late for school, Olivia is very stubborn in the morning with getting up. I had contact Jason about that. I called him one morning actually and said, Olivia's having a hard time getting up. Would you talk to her and let her know that she needs to listen to mama and get up and dressed? And he says, Nicole, you are her mother, figure it out. And he hung up on me. The other time that she had missed
clearly,
school.
hold on. Clearly, Mr. Moore doesn't have any trouble getting her out of bed and to school on time. She's not late once when she's with Dad.
He doesn't get her up or put her to bed. His mother does.
His mother lives in the home?
Yeah, it's his mother's home. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, so even if it is his mother who's doing it, she's getting out of bed when she's at his house.
I understand that.
I don't understand why you can't get her out of bed. That's part of every parent's struggle is kids don't like to get out of bed in the morning. You figure out a way to get it done.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand that. But a couple of times Jason was aware of this as well. She was eating too much cheese. She was bound up, needed to take something to unbind her. I wasn't going to send her to school for that. I'm not saying that every day that she missed is excusable. It is not. But from here on out, if you allow me to take my daughter, if you allow me a second chance to prove that I can get my daughter to school on time, then I can do so. I can definitely do so. And the first time that I mess up, then it's on me. But I was very emotional. I was very emotional. My daughter was emotional. When she gets upset, I get upset, and that's not what should happen. I'm being stronger for our daughter because she, one, that's my job, and two, she's getting now that she's older, she's getting a better understanding of what's going on. How many sleeps at dads, how many sleeps at moms. And Jason did offer me before this actual hearing that he would allow me to take Olivia to school on Mondays and Fridays. On Mondays, and then pick her up from school on Fridays at 3:00, and that I could still have her every weekend with the exception of the last weekend of the month.
So I want to talk about these text messages that you sent to your son. Again, I'm not focused on Andrew so much here. I'm more focused on your parenting ability. Ma'am, these are so far beyond the pale of anything that any parent who's got their head screwed on straight would say to a child, even if they're angry with them. How do you explain the horrible, horrible messages you're sending to your son?
I can't explain that, Your Honor. I let my emotions get the best of me, and I was wrong. I was very wrong.
Well, when I see a parent who can go this far, it really gives me concern for Olivia. So you get really upset with Olivia for some
Never.
reason? No. I'm posing a hypothetical. That at some point you do get upset at Olivia. When you reach that level of upset, why would I expect that you would speak any differently to her than you've spoken to your son?
Because my daughter isn't being coerced by her father to say horrible things to me. That's the only thing I can say, Your Honor. I mean, my son was telling...
Even if it's true that he's being coerced to say horrible things,
it still doesn't give me the right. I know.
That would be on his father. That wouldn't be on him. All right. Anything more that you wanted to say to me, ma'am?
Except only that I really would love and appreciate if you would allow me to take my daughter to and from school and have my daughter week on, week off. We have a beautiful relationship, and I don't want to lose that. I mean, she's upset every time she goes back to her dad. Not because she doesn't enjoy it there, but just because she misses me so much.
Okay, Mr. Moore, are there any questions that you would like to ask Nicole?
No, sir.
All right, and I did tell you I was going to give you a chance to respond to anything that she's raised. You can do that now.
I would just like to add that no other kids at that party that we were at were sick, nor did any of those kids miss any school the following week. The fact that she stated to you that I was trying to strong arm her, I wasn't strong arming her in any way. It was a simple negotiation between parents to try to keep my children from having to go to court, which she agreed on, and then stopped me from working to drive all the way to town to have her sign it, which I had already emailed this copy to her so that she could oversee it and read it.
I couldn't read emails.
She turns around and tells me to drive it to town. I drove it all the way to town.
Hold on, Ms. Moore, don't interrupt.
I'm sorry.
I drove it all the way to town, which is 25 minutes from my house, to get her to sign it, and then she tells me she's not signing it. Obviously, I was upset. It was a complete waste of my time and of my efforts to go through and write the motion the way that we both had agreed on, and that's what she was stating, because we had talked, and I said, if it's too much for you not to be able to take her to school at all, then I will allow you to have her an extra day on the weekend. Therefore, you can take her to school Monday, and that would give you the opportunity to prove that you could get her to and from school at least one day a week. And on another note, with Andrew's classes, he is struggling in school, and we are doing everything we can in these trying times to help him. We already have him signed up for credit recovery this summer for both Spanish and algebra, so that he can get those classes taken care of, get back on track for 10th grade year.
May I say something, Your Honor?
Other than that, Your Honor.
Not till he's done. Hold on.
Other than that, Your Honor, I have no further questions and nothing else to say, other than I would just like you to make a respectful decision in this matter. I've been before you a couple times now. I went out of my way as per your request to try to make a deal with her. She failed to comply with any of those deals. I was instructed to make that deal so that if she failed to do her obligations, that we can come back to court and basically go right back to what the attorney ad litem had suggested to begin with. Therefore, here we are. So that's about all I got for you.
Ms. Moore, there was something more that you wanted to say.
I just wanted to say that on May 9th, Jason told me that our son was passing school. I found out he was not doing so when I stated to him that he didn't even have a 50% in any class. He told me that he is almost 17 years old. What do you advise I do, spank him? Those are the things
he has
that
to make his own decisions. He has to do this on his own.
Let's not interrupt.
I just want him to have guidance and focus on school. That's all I've ever wanted. I thought Andrew in the beginning, this is why this continued. I wanted Andrew to seek counseling. Jason didn't believe in counseling. He did not want Andrew to go to counseling because he didn't want to get Andrew any more involved in this. But Jason has made every choice to allow Andrew to be so involved that he should not, to where it has created a horrible wedge between mine and his relationship. Granted, yes, I did say horrible things. I can't take that back. But if I could, I would. I spoke to my son about this. He has forgiven me for it. He understands that I was hurt, and he apologized for all the things that he had said to me as well. But Jason's fighting me every chance I get. He doesn't inform me when my daughter starts T-ball. I had to ask him, are there any upcoming events that I should be aware about? He tells me that she is enrolled in T-ball and this and that Amanda messaged me the information. Well, he knows Amanda is blocked from my phone so that I don't have to deal with her harassment. 2, I would like to be involved in that. If my daughter is going to do T-ball, I would love to be involved. He's trying to make it so I'm not involved. And
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I have to object to that.
Hold on. You'll get a chance.
I just want what's best for my kids. And right now, if Andrew not seeing me as what's best for him, I understand that because I hurt him. But like I said, him and I have spoke about that since, and we both apologized to one another. As far as my daughter, if I get my daughter only on the weekends, she's going to be absolutely devastated. Every time I have her, she's always asking, is it time that I have to go back to Daddy's? Is it time that I have to go back to Daddy's? Not because she doesn't want to see him, just because she's not getting enough time with me. And if he thought that I was that bad of a parent, why would he offer me this time? And then all of a sudden, I not sign what he wants me to, and then try to revoke that from me.
All right. So, Mr. Moore, I've essentially heard Ms. Moore's arguments for why I should do what she would like. Normally, I would hear, excuse me, I would hear your arguments first, but it really doesn't make that much difference to me. So I'm going to give you a chance to make your argument as to what I should do and why.
I feel like the evidence is there. Like I stated before, we made this agreement. She didn't comply. We're back in front of you.
All right. So the statutes in Michigan regarding child custody, specifically the Child Custody Act, have some pretty strong guidance that courts are required to follow whenever they're deciding on the issue of a request for change of custody. There's a number of factors that the court has to walk through. I realize the judgment of divorce says if the child's not in school regularly, that would provide a basis for a motion for change of custody. The problem with that is the Child Custody Act has a much higher standard. Child Custody Act requires, first of all, that I make a determination of, is there an established custodial environment? That's established when a child, let me get the precise language. There's an established custodial environment if over an appreciable period of time, the child naturally looks to the custodian in that environment. The court must also consider the age of the child, the physical environment, the inclination of the custodian and the child as to the permanency of the relationship. So we clearly have an established custodial environment here with both parents. When Olivia is with mom, she looks to mom for care and guidance. When Olivia is with dad, she looks to dad for care and guidance. If there is an established custodial environment, a change of custody, which is what you're asking for, Mr. Moore, can only be granted if there is clear and convincing evidence that the change is in the best interest of the child. Minor modifications of the amount of time with each parent, adjustments to parenting time that don't change the established custodial environment. In other words, taking it away from one parent, only require a preponderance of the evidence that it's in the best interest of the child. So I'm required to follow the Child Custody Act. So here, we clearly have a situation where there's a problem with mom getting Olivia to school. There's clearly a problem there. She's admitted she can't even get her out of bed in the morning. That's a pretty strong sign of a lack of parental control.
And might I add, Your Honor?
Not that I can't get her out of bed. That is difficult.
Neither one of you can add anything at this point. Okay, the proofs are closed. What's left is for me to rule. I believe that is an indication of a lack of parental control if you can't get a kid out of bed. Every parent struggles with kids who don't want to get out of bed. I remember how much my mother struggled getting me and my brother out of bed in the morning for school. And, but you know what? She did it. She did it. My 5'1" feisty mother knew how to get us out of bed. And she used cold water to do it. And I want you to know that when I had cold water splashed on me, I didn't like it, but you know what? I got out of bed. It worked. We made it to school on time every day, even though we almost never got out of bed when she first warned us to get out of bed. The water trick worked, and she only had to do it a couple of times. After that, all she had to do was threaten it, and that was enough. I'm not saying throw cold water on your daughter. I'm just saying parents That's your job. In order to be a good parent, you don't let a kid do what they want to do. You let them, you make them do what they need to do, and you find ways to do that. It is a extremely significant issue, and it's going to impact her. The older they get, the more they get entrenched in behaviors. Well, I know if I do this, mommy's not going to make me get out of bed. It just gets worse. It just builds over time, and it makes me wonder, well, what other issues are there when Olivia doesn't want to do something that mom or dad wants her to do? That's the challenge of raising every child. You got to figure out a way to get it done. That's one of the challenges of being a parent. And letting a kid do what a kid wants to do is not doing any favor to the kid. Clearly that was a problem that pre-existed the entry of the judgment of divorce, and appears that it continues currently. It is serious, but I can't look at just that one factor, even though the judgment of divorce suggests that I can look at just that one factor. That's why I asked about many of the others. So what's the first factor in the list of factors under the Child Custody Act is the love, affection, and other emotional ties existing between the parties involved in the child. This child has a strong emotional tie to both parents. Both parents love her. Both parents want the best for her. Not sure they're both equally equipped to do what's best for her, but they both want the best for her. So in terms of love, affection, and emotional ties, they're strong with both parents. The capacity and disposition of the parties to give the child love, affection, and guidance. So the love and affection is tied in part to the first factor, but there's more to it than that. So guidance, continue the education of the raising of the child, and raising the child in his or her religion or creed, if any. I haven't heard either parent talk about faith being a significant element in either home, so that's really not an issue here. But the love and affection, I don't think is an issue as far as Olivia is concerned. Both parents know how to love, have the capacity, have the disposition. It's the guidance part that concerns me with mom. Parental guidance is crucial. Children can't be allowed to do what they want. Parents have to make the children do what is right and good for them. And definitely, Mr. Moore has shown that he does indeed, regardless of how he does it, whether it's his mother or his wife or him personally, ultimately, when the child's in his home, the child gets to school on time and gets to school every day that they're supposed to be there. That clearly is a deficiency in mom's home. The third factor, the capacity and disposition of the parties involved to provide the child with food, clothing, medical care, or other remedial care recognized and permitted under the laws of the state in place of medical care and other material needs. I've not heard anything to suggest that either parent lacks the capacity and disposition to provide the child with the necessities of life in terms of material needs. The fourth factor, the length of time the child has lived in a stable, satisfactory environment and the desirability of maintaining continuity. Dad's home has been intact since well before the judgment of divorce. Since the judgment of divorce, he's married his girlfriend. She's now his wife. I didn't hear anything to suggest any evidence to indicate that that environment was anything other than stable and satisfactory. It appears that Olivia enjoys a good relationship with her stepmom and with her step siblings. It looks like a happy, healthy, safe environment. The environment with mom, the concerns I've heard, again, mostly with the educational component. There was a suggestion that mom's not always feeding her healthy food. But in terms of the environment itself, mom's been in the same apartment with the same boyfriend for a year. The fact that he's still just a boyfriend leaves a question as to the stability. Marriage is a strong indication of stability and continuity, but not exclusively so. But the suggestion that Paul is torn a little bit because of needing to care for his mother, and comments mom has made about just being friends, caused the court to question whether, how stable that relationship is, but at least it's been stable for the past year. The next one, the permanence as a family unit, touches on that same issue. Again, it certainly does appear that dad's custodial home bears more of the hallmarks of permanence than does mother's custodial home. Moral fitness, I haven't heard anything to suggest that either party is anything other than law-abiding and law-respecting. I know the LGAL commented on the readiness of both parties to enter into a sexual relationship with someone well before the divorce was final. And while that's a tough time for kids, and seeing parents move quickly from a spouse to a boyfriend or girlfriend takes a toll. It's not surprising to me that Andrew especially has exhibited some of the hallmarks of that kind of stress on a child by virtue of how much he's struggling at school. And clearly the communications with his mother, I'm not at all surprised that he's struggling right now. That kind of behavior needs to end permanently. But again, we're not talking about Andrew here. We're talking about Olivia. There really isn't any more to comment on with respect to the factor of moral fitness. Mental and physical health of the parties. No indication that dad has any mental or physical issues, or mom any physical issues. Clearly, mom does struggle with her mental health. I have no reason to believe that she's not, in fact, taking her medicine, as she testified. There looks like there's been some interruption of her therapy, but that absolutely needs to continue. It does indicate that that there are some mental issues with mom that are impacting her ability to parent effectively. Again, much more pronounced with Andrew, but I can't help but wondering, when as Olivia grows, I heard dad testify to how close mom was with Andrew when he was younger. What happens when Olivia starts displaying the things that all adolescents and teenagers begin to display in the home? And if mom were to react similarly to the way that she's reacted to Andrew, the impact on her daughter could be devastating. So clearly that mental health of mom is a factor. Home, school, and community record of the child. All I really heard about was school record. And clearly with Olivia, there's a challenge with mom getting her to school. Reasonable preference of the child. I did interview both Andrew and Olivia. Andrew was able to express a clear preference, which I've taken into account. Olivia is really borderline with respect to preference. But the only thing I could really disclose and glean is she clearly loves both of her parents. Willingness and ability of the parties to facilitate and encourage a close and continuing parent-child relationship between the child and the other parent, or the child and the parents. This is a troublesome factor for the court. It appears that both parents have over-involved the children in the issues of separation and divorce. That was evident from the LGAL's report. And it looks like there's still some of that going on today. I can't begin to tell you how devastating divorce and separation are on a child, even when the parents do their very best to insulate them from the issues. It's hard on kids. But where the children get involved in the ongoing disputes, it's that much worse. I think both parents can be faulted in this area. Domestic violence has not been an issue. Any other factor. Based on all of the evidence, I cannot say, weighing all of the factors, that there's clear and convincing evidence sufficient to justify completely altering the custodial relationship that exists between Mom and Olivia. But I think I can adjust that time somewhat without destroying the custodial environment to address the very real concern about Mom's ability to get her to school. This is something I've not yet formulated fully in my mind, so I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to keep the meeting room open, but take us off the record, and I want to ponder this for just a few minutes. I'll keep you both in the meeting room. When you see me come back out, I'll put us back on the record and restart the live stream. And Shannon, oh, we're on, okay. So I wanted to make sure as I count days, what I believe is in Olivia's best interest is that I do change the parenting time schedule during the school year from a week on, week off to a schedule where she is with Mom from Friday night through Monday night, with Mom dropping her off at school on Monday mornings, and then with Dad the rest of the week. This, although it does reduce Mom's parenting time by 1 day a week, one overnight a week, and increases Dad by one during the school year. During the summer, it'll continue to be week on, week off. This is sufficient to allow a custodial environment to remain with both parents, and therefore doesn't require clear and convincing evidence, but rather just a preponderance of the evidence. I think this is sufficient to address the majority of the school problem. But if in coming years we see that Mom still is struggling getting her out of bed, I would entertain a motion to change parenting time. Again, at that point, if I'm only reducing it by a day, I wouldn't actually be destroying an established custodial environment. I would simply be adjusting it. All other provisions will remain in effect as they pertain to the children. I will do a written order setting this forth. I am going to continue the requirements of the judgment of divorce with respect to all other provisions. And I'm also going to continue the language that I could put in my temporary order about the nature of communications with Andrew. I trust indeed that these have ended, that they won't happen again, but I'm going to continue that in effect. Andrew is, in my estimation, exhibiting problems at school as a direct result of the breakup of your marriage and ongoing disagreements that the two of you have. Involving him in those things is doing him no good at all. And whether or not he needs counseling to address that, I will leave up to the parties. I think you could possibly benefit from them. I suspect the schooling may very well be a consequence of this kind of fallout. But in any event, I'm not going to be changing anything else with respect to Andrew. So I will issue a written order that contains my ruling. And I really hope that the two of you can begin to work a little bit harder to communicate respectfully to each other and to keep the best interest of your children at heart. Hopefully, as more and more distance is gained between your separation and divorce, the easier that will be for the two of you to be able to handle. And I hope you can do that going forward. I will issue that written order promptly. Thank you.
Thank you.